Welcome back aboard Blurred Force One with your boy Mo. And today I'm reviewing Star Trek Lower Decks Season 4, Episode 9. It's entitled The Inner Fight, and it's coming to you from Paramount Plus. So, what did I think about it, and should you be watching? And before we get into this review, get down there, hit like on this video. We're at the penultimate episode of Season 4 Star Trek Lower Decks, and that means yes, we actually do have to deal with the setup ongoing plot line from earlier in the season, which is that weird lone spaceship blowing up, and destroying various ships of different space going societies. And so at the same time, we also have to deal with the fact that Mariner has been struggling with her promotion, and we got to get to the heart of why that is. And it's become so apparent actually that in the opening scene of this episode, we see Mariner risking her literal life to basically get this security fence back up on this lone science outpost. And it's it's a comical little bit, but the other ensigns, or I guess they're lieutenant junior grades now, they are noticing that Mariner has recently been literally throwing her life at whatever the problem is. She's putting herself into dangerous situations, and the captain has noticed, her mom has noticed, so she assigns most of the junior grade lieutenants a very easy, low stress, no danger sort of situation to go check on I guess a weather outpost in a remote system, and that will pretty much be routine and keep her out of harm's way, of self harm's way, I guess. And so that's Tendi and Talin and Boimler go with Mariner, and they assure, yeah, it's going to be all really, lots of danger and everything, and she's just all for it. Only, of course, for them to end up in this this basically weather station and space station in the middle of nowhere. But unbeknownst to them, there's a Klingon bird of prey nearby, and it proceeds to blow up their ship, but not before they can emergency, transport down to this the planet's surface. And I had a question about that, and I know I say don't ask too many questions about these things, but how can an emergency transport complete if the transporter gets blown up? I'm just saying, that's a question. It's not instantaneous. How did that work? But you know what? Let's not ask too many questions, because we got more questions towards the end of the episode. So that's the A plot. They get stranded on this planet and find out that, hey, there's a bunch of other, like, there's Cardassians and Romulans and Binars. I think there are Orions and Ferengi and Klingons. And so, what's going on here? How do they get down to this planet? Why are they fighting each other? It's like Lord of the Flies in space. Yes, exactly. So there's that going on. And of course, trying to figure out what the heck is Mariner throwing herself at everything for. And then meanwhile, the B plot is that, Captain Freeman, Shax, and Lieutenant Shax and Lieutenant Junior Grade Rutherford, who didn't get to go on the cool mission, but he did get to go on an even cooler mission, which is like they set Star Wars inside of Star Trek for just this episode, which I love. I'm a big fan of Star Wars anyway. I've always liked the kind of silly Western border town foolishness that goes on within Star Wars. It's just like it's a trope within that fandom, within that whole universe. And to see that sort of play out here, where they go to this, they're going to look for a former Starfleet cadet who is now a kind of a mercenary pilot out in the lawless sectors of the quadrant. And so they go to this world it's non-Federation affiliated. It's basically known as a place for outlaws and so forth, bounty hunters, mercenaries, etc., to congregate and do business. So Mos Eisley. Just call it what it is. Mos Eisley. To down to the fact that when they get down to the surface, they actually go to a bar, a disreputable bar called Mudd's, named after, of course, if you watched the original series, Harry Mudd, who he's a disreputable ass person. So of course they have a bar named after him. But as their federation, they get treated like crap as soon as they get into the system, and they got to go park far away, and then but they also end up having to wait for like 2 hours to get into this bar. They're just getting treated like crap because, I mean, look, they're Starfleet. Why would any outlaws ever treat Starfleet like they're anything good to see around? And this is their planet, so they get to just kind of push them around or whatever. As I love this, Captain Freeman's just like, oh, well, I took a class on this and I aced it. I know how to deal with these unsavory characters, and she's just getting like taken advantage of left, right, and center. She's too polite and all this other stuff, and they're giving the runaround. There's a fun little callback to the original series when they go to talk to the information broker. Looks just like there's a credit scene in the original series that has this obviously fake alien head. It's infamous among Star Trek fans, but they actually have the head here, and it's talking, and it looks super fake and everything like that. And Captain Freeman ends up just like manhandling this, but it's actually an alien. I love the fact that they did that. They took something that's ridiculous about the original series, basically a limitation of the original series of technology and so forth at the time, and a kind of a really weird like outtake, or not, I don't want to call it outtake, just a credit scene where it's just this weird looking alien face on the credits, and they turn it into a real thing, and it's hilarious but also awesome that it's more real now than it ever has been, whatever this alien may be. It turns out it's a puppet, but it's also an information broker, and it's just like, oh, you just throw people around however you want. Well, I'm not selling information to you. I'll sell it to anybody else. Wasn't going to sell it at all, but all right, this guy Locarno you're looking for, there's somebody's totally going to find him. All right, and he sells it to this mercenary that they've been, I guess, bounty hunter they've been running across. And so it seems like that whole bit was just like, that's just failure after failure. And it really, if you're watching up to this point, you're like, man, is Freeman just, is she just like a sheltered, like, privileged, sheltered, Starfleet officer who just doesn't really know what's going on in the real world, has no real experience, just been a desk jockey this whole time? And because she's just getting defeated left, right, and center, and she just looks incompetent and inept. But of course she's not. Captain Freeman is legit. Let's be real. She's a really good captain. It only seems because this is on a very silly show. It's very lighthearted, and there's a lot of silliness that's going on. It only seems like she's not as serious as some of the other captains, but hey, she's a Starfleet captain and she gets the job done. And in this case, taking advantage of, likely prejudice against Federation and using that to their advantage to get Billups, Commander Billups, to pose as a bounty hunter, and to ultimately get him the information, which I thought, yes, that's clever, very smart. I love the fact that Captain Freeman twice in this season has shown her not just competence, but like excellent head for for the situation, just her ability to figure her way through a complex or difficult problem and come up with a solution, just like all of the other celebrated Starfleet captains that we've seen and had the chance to experience their command. So I love that we actually get to see her at work and really excelling at her job. Especially because Shax completely knew nothing, and Rutherford was like, we suck, and then they actually won. Really, really cool. Loved it. And that does lead them to end up finding out where Locarno is, and to find out some very interesting and devastating news, which leads us back to the planet where Mariner and Boimler, Tendi, and T'Lyn have been, trying to figure out what's going on. Down on the planet, Mariner she's just kind of going at it. They say, hey, this mission was supposed to be away from danger. You just keep running into it. What's wrong with you? And she's just like, well, never mind. Let's figure our way out of here. I just don't want to talk to you guys right now. And while everybody's asleep, she goes off, runs into a Klingon that she fought earlier when they landed. They fight, but then this crazy ass planet rains glass, and then it leads to a surprisingly, and I mean surprisingly, emotional scene, if you can believe it, between a Klingon and Beckett Mariner. Who the Klingon really basically talks some sense into Mariner about her self-destructive tendencies, and we get to learn about some backstory about Mariner that's only been hinted at so far. It's confirmed that she was an ensign that served on Deep Space Nine, and she was a part of the Dominion War, which, if you are a Star Trek fan, that's a major part of the 24th century's history. Starfleet fighting the Jem'Hadar and so forth. I mean, it was just like, it's a big deal. Even if you haven't really watched that part of Deep Space Nine, you know about it if you like Star Trek. And so Noah Mariner really got a lot, she learned a lot in Deep Space Nine and in that war, and it really jaded her and really kind of got to her, but also that her friend became a casualty of that whole deal when she was on the Enterprise. I believe her name was Cedo, who is a callback character to the Lower Decks episode, a couple episodes from the Next Generation, as is Locarno, as we'll find out later. But Cedo being a model, ensign that Beckett Mariner really, she modeled herself after, and once she died, kind of, and as a part of like being an ensign, but also following orders that had her go undercover, and she was killed undercover. It really kind of jaded Mariner, made her want to remain an ensign. But this Klingon talks to her about honor and honoring her sacrifice and everything. It really kind of gives her a good perspective and basically kicks her in the butt and gets her to look at things in a better way. And she even ends up hugging it out with the guy, which, like, it was cute, but like also very like cathartic. I love the fact that Mariner she opens up and she's not just flipping or just causing chaos. She's actually being real for a little while, and we get to see more of her and who she is as a person and what has shaped her and made her who we know now, but also that she is not above changing and seeing the error of her ways, and that she is a true leader. Like, she's been shirking leadership for a long time in an effort to honor her friend, wherein now she sees that she can honor her friend in another way, in a way that her friend, Cedo, would have really looked up to. And so she proceeds to basically band together all of the warring factions, and we find out that these are all the command officers from the various ships, that their lower decks crew members had mutinied, basically, and that was why they were deposited down there. Again, very Lord of the Flies. She gets them to kind of come together, but so that they can get off of the planet. But before she can participate, she's transported mysteriously away. While she's gone, these survivors, they trick the bird of prey to coming down, break through the hole, which is weird. How the hell did they break through a hole that can go through space? Well, you know what? Asking too many questions. They do it. They proceed to, take over the ship, and now they got to find out where Mariner is, because she is not on this ship. Where is she? She meets up with Locarno, who, as I said, is a callback character from the Next Generation. Was in fact kicked out of Starfleet Academy because of trying to cover up another cadet's death, and has since been a mercenary. And clearly this is some kind of revenge plot on the Federation or something like that, because he is the one that has created that little ship that's been, going around blowing things up and so forth. And it's clear that instead of having some weird technology, in fact, he is contacting the members of the lower decks who are sabotaging the ships. And that's how he's able to kind of take them out. But he's got Mariner there, and he says we're going to cause some trouble. So clearly they know each other, and Mariner knows him, because they went to the academy together. So we're going to find out what exactly he has in store, and why. How does Mariner, figure into all of this? I think this was a great episode. I think it was just like it had all the things that I like about this. It's lighthearted in some ways, but it gets serious. The heartfelt moment with Mariner and the Klingon was absolutely on point. Like, it's some of the best writing this show's had at all. And there was a lot of fun to be had here, but they are really advancing the plot, and I'm really, really excited to see how this plays out. How are they going to stop this guy? What's his plan? It's good that they're using a callback character in a meaningful way and really deepening the connection, not just that Lower Decks has to Star Trek, but that the Star Trek universe has in general. They're making it more cohesive. This isn't just some one-off show. The show actually matters, and we've seen that earlier in the season when they crossed over with Strange New Worlds. So I'm really loving this. I can't wait to see how this ends. This season ends. So anyway, this is my long-winded thoughts on this episode. But what did you guys think? What did you think about what I had to say? Get down to the comments section, leave your thoughts there, and of course you can always hit me up, supernotfunnyshow@gmail.com, or at supernotfunnys1 on Twitter. And while you're down there, do me a favor, hit like on this video, subscribe to this channel, and hit the notification bell. All that good stuff helps with this channel, helps us grow, helps more people to see videos just like this. All right, thanks for joining me. Come back next week. We're going to do the finale of Season 4 of Star Trek Lower Decks. It should be good, really good. So you guys come on back here. Until then, I've been Mo, your commentator extraordinaire on all things pop culture, and I'll see you guys on the other side of the thread. Peace.